to go ahead and make you an arrangement while my wildflowers are blooming before everything goes down, and I didn't have much time. The best time to pick flowers generally is in the early morning, so that they're not fatigued from the day, they're not overheated, they're fresh and crisp, and they've had all night to soak up some water. So these are just a few of the flowers around my yard, and I've got, these are wild daisies, wild solidago. Now the solidago, no different than you get in the flower shop. Now these are Confederate roses. They're about as big as a peony and as pretty, but they only last one day. So this is just for, because I don't have any roses blooming right now. I've got ginger, I've got eucalyptus. Most people probably can't grow that, but I live on the Gulf Coast, so I can. And we've got this stuff here. I forgot what it's called, but it's also a wildflower. And let's see, it grows everywhere down here. I think it's related to an aster, I'm not sure. I have some lantana and some other things. Now what we're going to use, if you needed a gift and a pinch or something that you wanted to do. Now I've been working with flowers for a long time, so I do know what lasts and what doesn't last in general. So I try to pick from the things that I know will last a little longer. And but you know, just watch things in your yard. You can find an amazing amount of stuff in your yard to use to make your own flower arrangements. And I love, there's nothing better to me than somebody who's taken all the time and attention to actually grow something in their yard, and then they want to share it with us. This is pampas grass, by the way, very elegant. You know, because it does take a while to grow things, and you want them. This is the eucalyptus. You put a lot of love and care into whatever you're growing, so it's very important to be very thankful when you get something that somebody has grown in their yard. This is bottle brush, and it is blooming like crazy right now. Big red long bottles of blooms. However, I can't reach it because it's about 20-25 foot tall. So I can't reach it. And another thing to do a lot of times is you want your flowers to sit and soak for a little bit. Now when you put them in a bucket, when you cut them, make sure you cut them right away and put them in a bucket of water. In the bucket of water, the flowers should be about up to their knees, so to speak. If you can imagine, up to your knees, up to their knees. You don't need it up to their necks. So that's what you're going to do with that. And these, literally everything here is from my yard. I could go and I could buy roses from the grocery store and add it to what I've already got. This is ligustrum. We frequently use ligustrum, and this is your standard hedge. We use ligustrum in a lot of different ways and flowers. Flower shops use it all the time. And you know, I'm a second generation floral designer, so I do know a little bit about it. But the stems can be a little rough. Get my knife. Alright, so the main thing that you want to do is remove the leaves from the bottom half of the stem when you start to design. And then you're going to put in just some little pieces of greenery. You don't have to fill it up completely, but you want to put some pieces of greenery in. This is primarily to hold your flowers in place. It is getting more humid today. But yeah, this is to hold the flowers in place. You want to make sure that they've got a good steady base to work out of. And as you work around, you'll see it kind of moves, spreads out, and creates an area to work and stick your flowers in. So hold on one second. So this is my piece of bottle brush. Just going to stick that in there. This is another piece. And I tend to have a lot of greenery in mine because to me the greens are equally as important as the flowers. Primarily because I have such a design background. I've done every kind of design. I'm going to wait on that one. But So what happens is your eye needs a place to rest. And your eyes want to rest on a green spot or a plain color spot. It's just like doing a lawn in a flower bed. You can't have your whole yard filled with flowers as much as you would like. You want to have a little bit of a lawn or negative space or something that's not really, in your face like the flowers are, because your eye needs to have a place to rest. And it helps with the aesthetics of design. So I'm just stripping off the bottom, sticking it in the bucket. And I've also got some lantana. And the thing to do with lantana when you get it, if you're doing it now, do be careful because some lantana has thorns on the stems. But give it a good shake and make sure nothing's falling out, because lantana does shatter sometimes. And another interesting thing that I found in my yard today is some azalea blooms. Now, it is the middle of October. These are Formosan azaleas, meaning they're the old-fashioned kind. They only bloom in the spring. They don't rebloom, and yet mine are reblooming. But it's 2020, so what can I say? So I'm just going to sit those there, and I thought that would be a nice addition. So let's go to... I generally, personally like to set my largest flowers in first. And another design point is to make sure that you have at least 3 of everything that you got. And if you don't, I'll show you a way to fix that, But also, remove all the dead parts. And that doesn't mean the flower is dead, because roses come with like a, protective leaf or protective petal. And so that's just meant to be on the outside. And like ginger will bloom and bloom and bloom. And as the old blooms die, the new blooms come on. So you do want to kind of pick those back a little bit. And also remove the bottom parts of the stem. So I'm just going to stick a ginger in here in my little vase. And this is nothing fancy really. This is just a glass pitcher that I got from Goodwill probably, because this will tighten up. I'll explain that in a minute. But I do, when I find pretty glass things, I pick them up from Goodwill and save them for when I might need them. And the reason why I definitely wanted to include ginger, the ginger is almost bloomed out, as you can see, is ginger has the best smell. Especially when you come out at night in your yard and you smell ginger. It's like, oh, so sweet. If I could just bottle that up, it would be a fantastic perfume. There's several of the yard scents that I would love to bottle up if I could and make them into perfumes, because they are just lovely. So again, ginger is also really good for using as, besides being an herb, but using as for the leaves as a decoration in any of your arrangements that you make. The leaves are very pretty as well, so you don't have to necessarily have a blooming flower. You can use it for the leaf stuff as well. Okay, so now you are, with anything you pick, you're going to have some old, some new, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to cut this much shorter. We'll put that one right in there. And I think I have one more. Yep. I have more ginger in my yard. Y'all don't know how much it hurts me to cut things out of my yard, because I like to walk out my door every morning and see beautiful flowers. That's how it is. And if I cut them, the bumbles don't like it. I mean, I literally had to fight bumblebees to do this for you. So remember that. I'm doing you a huge favor. So I'm going to stick another ginger in the bottom. And I'm doing this backwards, so it's a little different than how I would normally do it. And typically, if you do things round, it makes it so much easier too. So I'm going to save these for these Confederate roses for last, I think. And I'm going to start stuffing my goldenrod and some of my other flowers in. Now, a lot of folks say, oh my God, that's a sneeze fest. No, it's not. It's not a sneeze fest. If you know anything about goldenrod, you would know it's not only an herb, but it's also not allergenic, really, unless you're allergic to like sunflowers and asters and stuff like that. It's the ragweed that grows alongside of it, which is usually everywhere. And so that's what really gets you in the allergies. And not only that, but goldenrod comes in many different kinds as well. It's the same thing, but it's a different type of species or whatever you want to call it. This is what's typical, what grows in a cone, but these also grow and they are also solidago. So I'm just going to stick a few of those in there because they're the taller ones. Now, actually, I say that, but my goldenrod is 8 feet tall approximately. That's in my flower bed. It's at least 8 feet tall, so can't really call it short. But it's so big that I didn't want to pick too much of it. And all right, let's see. All right, come on now, be cooperative. Don't be fizzing out on me. All right, the daisies. Now, I love this time of year. It is my favorite, and it's not just because my birthday's in October. It is also because the flowers are amazing. Now this here, this is like the perfect way that you want to pick a flower. A lot of the flowers I picked were pretty well bloomed. You can see how bloomed this one is. They bloom from the top to the bottom on these. Now, this is fine, but it won't last as long as one like this. And you don't want to get one that's super green either. You want to get one that has just enough yellow on it that's just starting to bloom out. And that is just helps you, makes the flowers last a lot longer. And that's pretty much with any flower. So, oops, I'm dropping flowers. Oh. And I do tend to put, I mean, this is just what I have in my yard. If I had, I could always go to the grocery store and for like $5 get one of those little flower bunches, you know, that they come wrapped up and everything. $5. And then add all the greenery and all the pretty things that I have in my yard so that this would be just extra special. And I've done that a few times because it's just like, it makes it look good, so, you know. All right, let's see, where's the front? Oh, there she is. There we go. I also like to collar a lot of my arrangements, and what I mean by that is putting flowers around the base down here and making it really extra pretty. Hello, puppy. My puppy dog is out here with me. All right, let's see, we've got some more. I'll put one over here. And stick this up in here. Okay, a few more pieces, and I will have most of the goldenrod done. And I like to section them. That's just me. You do it however you want to do it. You do it you. And your way. But I like to have all of my flowers be like all of the goldenrod together, all of the roses together, you know, that kind of thing. That's just my thing. And you don't have to do that. You can do it any way you want to do it. This is your arrangement. All right. Craziness right here. This is just craziness. All right. So now, as I've got kind of a base built for my arrangement, I've got just about everything I want to use as my base. I can start putting in some of the larger flowers and some of the special flowers, some of the opposite looking. And of course, you want to step back every once in a while and take a good look at what you're building and see what you think about it. So I'm just going to stick this one back here. Now, I didn't put any ginger toward the back, but that's okay. I want to put an azalea towards the front so you can really see it. And this is some really cool white stuff. I don't know what it's called. It's a wildflower. Forgive me because I don't know the name. But it smells like powder at night when it starts to scent. A lot of flowers are scented at night, and that's usually what I make my garden to smell is at night, because that's usually when you get home for work. And nobody is there during the day to be watching all that. So I'm just going to put another pretty azalea over here. And ideally, I want longer stemmed azaleas and stuff, but I don't have that many blooms. I just wanted to leave them on there. Now, as I was saying, these Confederate roses, it did hurt me to cut them because they are still blooming. And I'm missing all these blooms as I cut them because this flower is only for one day. So in place of this, use roses or peonies or something big like a hydrangea or something like that. You want to put your big flowers and let them be the star of the show. So I'm going to start with putting one right in here and just kind of flopping that down. And whoops, I thought I picked more than one of those guys. Oh, I did. It fell out. Okay. And you can see I've got a few more. I also picked some willow from my weeping willow tree. And I'm going to stick some of these around the back, so it will be pretty back here. I'm going to pull this straight. And then start pulling in some of these guys in the front and in the top. And the thing about a lot of things like hydrangeas and these type flowers is to, when you put them in the water, you want to make sure that they get as low to the bottom of the container as possible so they can get very much water. So they don't miss out on water because they do need it. And especially hydrangeas. They also sit them down low so they don't flop or droop. But hydrangeas seem to be really susceptible to that as well. So I'm going to add some of my lantana in. And I'm just filling in spaces that look like they might be a little bit of a blank spot, you know. Doesn't have to be a specific way. You just do it how you feel. And that's what it's all about, is doing it how you feel. So I'm going to stick a lantana in here. And maybe one over on the other side. And you can see that if you don't have a lot of something, if you group it all together toward the front, then that tends to make it front and center and, oops, sorry, to where you notice it more. All right. And the other things, this is pampas grass. Add some really cool, wild and crazy looking items from your yard. Maybe something that goes a little crazy. There are lots of things you can do with pampas grass. Just like bear grass. If I had bear grass, it would be the same thing. And it's very elegant and it kind of lays out really pretty. So that's for that. And I'll show you, I'll back up whenever I'm completely done and show you everything. So, weeping willow. Let's put some of this pretty, pretty stuff in here. This will act kind of like if I had statice. It would be just like this. You could get statice or, you know, depending on where you are, heather and lavender and things like that. We don't get a lot of lavender around here because lavender, quite frankly, doesn't grow in this area. People try it all the time, and I hate to say I feel bad for them because I'm like, I try to tell them, don't do it. Don't do it. It's just heartbreaking. I love lavender. It is probably one of my favorite herbs, but I'm not going to grow lavender because I know it doesn't grow in this area, and it would be a waste of my energy. So these are some daisies that grow wild. So I went across the street in the ditch and I picked them. Now, there is something to be said for wildflowers. I will say that. The wildflowers, I love them. Daisies generally don't last that long, but what some people consider weeds is another person's wildflower. Remember that, because people are like, oh no, that's a weed. You put it together, it's a wildflower bouquet. You can make all kinds of pretties out of wildflower bouquets. And you have all different kinds of heights and variations of wildflowers. I don't think nope, it's not going down all the way. There we go. Ooh, that's too tall. See, I noticed it's too tall. I want it to be connected. So if I were doing something really avant-garde or, super modern, I wouldn't worry about it, but you want it to be connected with everything that you're doing. So you want to make sure that it's short enough. And I'm going to slip around to the front here. I say the front, but I'm not really making a front. I'm just kind of, I do it round, but not completely round. Maybe more like an oval, especially in a container like this. So and I'm going to go back here, put some trailing daisies, and I love these. They grow wild everywhere. If y'all go and look at some of my other videos of the yard and the garden and check out my Facebook, you will find that I have lots and lots of pictures of these guys, because it's just nice to have them. And it doesn't cost you anything to go out in your yard and find some daisies. So that is what I'm doing. All right. And you want to do things that are high, things that are low. You generally want to keep the smallest flowers being the lowest in if you can. It's not always the case, but sometimes, most of the time, you'll keep your smallest flowers towards the inside of the arrangement, or down low, I should say. Not inside, but down low. Alright, so we're going to just pull that back a little bit. And now you can see we have small flowers, we have big flowers, and we have medium flowers. And that is the basics of what you need. You just need to get enough of them, and like I said, always make sure you've got about 3 of whatever you got. It's a nice thing to do. And this must have come out of here, so I'm going to stick you back in. Cut your grass at an angle when you cut the bottom of it. It doesn't want to go in. Alright, I'll fix that in a second. So I've got a little piece of sweet potato vine, which you could put a lot more in there. And when you do this, a lot of times when I do these types of arrangements, especially from the yard, I will put stuff in it that purposely I know will root, like gardenias and sweet potato vine, and different things that I know will root, herbs and stuff, so that when the arrangement is over, you can tell the person, hey, these items here, willow will root really easily. These items will root, and you will have a forever flower, basically. So this is a eucalyptus that I've grown, and I'm putting a little bit of that in there. I want to put some more of my, God, I can't ever remember what the name of this stuff is, but it's pretty. And it reminds me of a powder puff. It's blue, like a cornflower or something. Or, I don't know. Anyway, so cutting it in pieces, adding a little bit of here and there. to add some brightness. Of course, make sure that you've got multiple colors, multiple values of colors, lights and darks and mediums and brights and everything, so that way your arrangement will look designed and not like you just threw it in there. So even though literally you kind of do just throw it in there, but you know, whatever. I'm always feeling when I'm putting stuff in, I'm feeling to see and make sure that I hit like the bottom of the container as much as possible, so that it makes sure that it gets water. Okay. All right. We're getting there. And I have used, you don't have to do this, but I've used almost every single flower I picked. And that's important, because if I'm going to cut its little life off, I definitely want to use it. It's not a hippie thing, it's just a courtesy thing, I promise. If the flower gave its life for me, I want to use it and make sure it was well lived. Come on. And you just do this, you'll get to know as you play with the flowers what kind of pressure you can put on the stems before they break, and how far that they have to go and all that good stuff. Alright, I think we're good on that part. Alright, so I've got just a few more little pieces of eucalyptus. And eucalyptus, it's amazing stuff. It will dry, it won't root, but it will dry just like this, and it won't wilt. And you can crunch it up and put it in your potpourri, or in your with some water, and put it in your wax melt thing, and or boil it on the stove if you want to give you that eucalyptus smell, which is really nice. Crush it up in your hands, whatever you want to do. And it also, whenever it gets really super dry, you can use it as a fire starter, because quite frankly, it is so full of whatever makes a fire, gas kind of stuff, that you put it in the fireplace, and I'm telling you, within a minute, it's gone like a pine cone. It's like a pine cone. Pine cones are great fire starters. So, so this here is some of my curly willow, not curly, weeping willow. I've got that too. But weeping willow is just nice to give you that droopy, kind of around the edge, flowy look. And I'm going to cut this down some because I don't need it that long. Make sure to strip the leaves off. Another reason to strip the leaves off the bottom is to make sure that you don't have leaves down in the water, because the leaves in the water will tend to rot fast. And do change the water out. There's no special kind of water. That would be just crazy. But change the water out every day, other day or so that it lasts as long as it possibly can. And like I said, I know that some of these flowers that I have in here are not going to last more than a day. I don't care. I like them. And if I had other flowers to choose from, I would probably go to the grocery, if I didn't, and get some long-lasting flowers. You know, carnations get a bad rap, but they last forever, as do sunflowers, and roses are the least lasting of flowers. But there are many flowers like Alstroemeria lilies, things that last forever and ever and ever, that you don't have to worry about dying on you within a day or two. This is just what I had, and I'm working with what I had, which should be a goal for everybody. Work with what you got. All right. All right. Not bad, huh? Okay. Let me move this ugly bucket so you don't have to look at it. And pour out the water. All right, hang on just a second. I'm gonna sit it somewhere in the sunshine so that you can see how it looks. My lefty, peeing, great, love it, awesome. And here's my arrangement, and that is what it looks like. Can't get much fancier than that. And as you can see, it's already been invaded by a bee. They're like, I approve. I'll get some nectar. It's all good. It's bee approved. Yep, my favorite time of year when all of this is blooming in my yard. Hi, Lefty. So I did the video on this yesterday on making it, and I left it outside overnight because, you know, I didn't want to take the flowers from the bumbles, and I just wanted you to see my Confederate rose is still kicking. Probably won't be once the sun gets high, but they're still going, surprisingly, and so are the daisies. And I really didn't think that either of those two would last very long at all. But they are. See what kind of pretties you can make from just stuff around the yard. That's what this was about. And, whoop. Must have fallen down. Okay. But sure does look pretty. And I can see that the bees have appreciated it as well because they've already on it. So, and look at that, the ginger's still going strong. And it sure does smell good this morning too. My goodness, I can smell it from here. Hi, did you click that subscribe button and the notification bell? Well, if you don't hit that notification bell, you will miss out on our Thursday videos. So please go ahead, click it, and you'll be able to watch our videos that are coming up.